Gentleman from the 2nd District, Representative Wilcox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, everybody here knows that our first job is to get Washington working again, and everybody here wants to do that. The people that sent us here know that most of all. Mr. Speaker, also, I think everybody here gets mail every week from people that are talking about a broken, I call it an L&I system, workman's comp system, and they're not complaining about the fact that it doesn't have a rainy day fund. They're complaining about the fact that every single person that works in the state of Washington knows somebody who's cheating the system. Everybody knows that this is an expensive system, and let me tell you something. Employers, especially those that have a choice about where they're going to site their processing plant or their office, are very well aware of what the various rates are in the states that surround us. And Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the cost of labor, you know, I hate using that phrase, honestly, the cost of labor. These are people working, and the dollars that are allocated to labor costs should be going into workers' pockets. That's where we want the dollars to go, not into a broken L&I system. I had a great example. A couple of years ago when I formed my own small company, I do some consulting, I do some work in the forest, I hire my kids. Now, not everybody goes through all the steps that are necessary to legally hire their own kids, but I did because I'd worked in a larger business all my life, and I really wanted to make sure I understood what smaller businesses go through. So I went through the Department of L&I, I got my rate, and to hire my kids, I'm paying $6 an hour to the L&I system. That isn't going into my kids' pockets. It's not going into any workers' pockets. It's going into a broken system. And Mr. Speaker, I'd like to see us work on fixing this system so that the costs are lower, there's less fraud, and that more money can go into workers' pockets. This second fund, I call it a second rainy day fund because there's already a reserve, is going to do nothing to smooth out the fee changes. First of all, it's pointless. It's merely another target for sweeps into the operating budget or to other uses of funds. Second of all, and probably worst, it's going to create a constant temptation to increase benefits, not to every worker, but to a few workers. It's also going to prevent immediate adjustments. If you've been around the Capitol for just 3 months, like a freshman legislator has, you know that one of the major problems we have here is that instead of reacting to crises as they come up, we push them down the road, sometimes waiting for 2 or 3 years. And a rainy day fund in the Department of L&I is one more excuse to sweep it down the road for a few more years. And when you do have to make a change, it's going to be a huge change. I urge you to vote no on this.